Hello. In this video, we will ask ourselves, what is a good trademark for your project? First of all, we will provide a definition of what a trademark is, and then we will analyze a little bit what are the characteristics of a good trademark, which are its distinctiveness, its availability, the fact that it has to be registered, and the fact that you have to keep it alive. First of all, the definition of a trademark. Trademarks are signs that are used in trade in order to identify services or products. A lot of signs can be used as trademarks. You can have word marks, such as the Côte d'Or for chocolate. You can have figurative marks, such as the sign of the Nike shoes. You can have figurative marks with letters, such as Gore-Tex, for instance. You can also have other types of marks, such as 3D marks. A famous example is the shape of a bottle, the Perrier bottle, for instance. You have color marks, such as the lilac color for the Milka chocolate. You have also the sound trademarks, such as the roaring lion of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayers. The main function of a trademark is to signal the origin of a product or of a service. By registering a trademark, you are monopolizing it, and you are ensuring that you are the only person that is allowed to use it for the designated products or services. It distinguishes yourself from the competitors, and it becomes the symbol that the clients and the customers are looking for to select your products or services. It allows you to advertise easily your products and services. It can therefore be the subject of important investments, and it can become an important asset of your company. What is a good trademark? First of all, a trademark must be distinctive. It has to have the power to distinguish your products and services. So it should not describe the product or the services, or it should not describe its main characteristics, such as its nature, its quality, its geographical origin, for instance. Signs which consist only or exclusively of the shape of the product or of technical aspects or characteristics of the products are excluded as well. So for instance, you cannot register the Apple sign or the wordmark Apple for apples and to sell apples in trade. But on the other hand, it's a very distinctive sign for computers, for instance. The distinctiveness of a trademark will define its strength. So the more distinctive the trademark, the easier it gets to protect it from the use by other people. So you have a whole scale as regards the strengths of trademarks. Normally, generic words will simply not be protected. It's impossible to register Apple for apples, for instance. It's impossible to register software for softwares. A trademark cannot be descriptive. So it's very difficult to get a trademark on a word that describes a service, for instance. So if you are selling hamburgers and if your service is a fast food, it is difficult to get a trademark on the word quick. But it is possible that the sign gets or acquires distinctiveness. So it becomes distinctive because the user of the trademark is using it intensively in order to distinguish its services from the services of another provider or competitor. You can also have suggestive trademarks, which are trademarks that do not describe the service, but they suggest nevertheless the nature of the service. So a good example is Microsoft, for instance. In Microsoft you have micro, which refers to microcomputer, and soft, which refers to software. That's the reason why Microsoft can be described as a suggestive trademark. Finally, the stronger trademarks are the arbitrary trademarks or the fanciful trademarks. An arbitrary trademark is a generic term that exists in a dictionary, but is used to distinguish totally other types of products or goods. So Apple is a very good example of arbitrary trademark. Why? Because it's used to distinguish computers. Finally, you have the fanciful trademarks, and a very good example of fanciful trademarks in the IT sector is Xerox, for instance. Why is it fanciful? Because Xerox doesn't mean anything and does not exist in the dictionary. The second important feature of a trademark is its availability. You must choose your trademark very carefully, and you should not select a trademark that is already used by another company. In other words, you have to pay attention to the trademark rights of third parties. Your trademark should not be similar or identical to another pre-existing trademark of a third party. Another video will give you hints to make good clearance researches to be sure that you are not registering a trademark that could generate conflicts with others. If a third party has a similar trademark for similar goods, or if a third party has a reputed trademark, which is very similar to the trademark that you want to register, you can face problems. Why? Because this third party could oppose your registration, or it could even request a tribunal to declare it invalid and to cancel the trademark. These situations should be avoided, of course, because they mean trouble and costs. If you decide to withdraw your registration after an opposition, then you lose the fees that you paid in order to register the trademark, and you lose also all the investments that you have made prior to the registration, or you lose all the effects of having used that trademark before registering it. If you try to defend your trademark, then you will engage in a costly proceeding with still a risk of cancellation at the end. Registration is another important aspect of trademark. In order to be valid and to be enforceable, your trademark must be registered. When registering your trademark, you will have to select the classes of products or services in which you want your trademark to be registered. You must also pay attention to the geographical aspects of trademarks. Indeed, trademarks are national rights or are rights that are limited to geographical zones. So for instance, in Belgium, you can register your trademark in the Benelux register. In that case, you will have a trademark that is only protected on the Benelux geographical zone. If you want to protect your trademark in the whole European Union, then you will have to opt for the European trademark, which was previously called Community Trademark, or CTM trademark. In that case, with a single registration, you will be protected on the whole European Union. And finally, you must also know that there exists a system which allows you to easily register trademarks anywhere else in the world, or at least in the countries that are member states of the Madrid system. And in that case, you just have to select the countries where you want to protect your trademark and, of course, pay the corresponding fees. Finally, your trademark must be alive and kicking. So indeed, a trademark can be considered as a living organism. It can get weaker, stronger, or it could even die. So you must monitor your trademark and pay attention to what other people are doing with your trademark. Otherwise, there is a risk that it dilutes and gets weaker. Your trademark could even die if you are not using it during 5 years, or if you are not renewing it after the 10 years period of the initial registration. Finally, a special attention must be paid when you want your trademark to evolve. So indeed, usually companies want to adapt their logo or their trademarks. So in that case, if you are bringing some very slight modifications, which are not altering the distinctive characters of your trademark, then it's okay. Otherwise, you must consider registering the new logo or the new trademark.